My name is Doug, and this is Leaving the Dream. On October 5th, 2021, Hawaii's very own Sam Kapoi was sentenced to 18 years behind bars in a federal prison. With only 4 days left as a free man, Sam sat down with me in an exclusive 4-hour interview that you can only find right here on Leaving the Dream. This is Sam's only interview, and he holds nothing back. So here's Sam's story in his own words.
Oh, from the ashes I will rise. No satisfaction without the fight. A man has limits, oh, so they say, but I never listen. Did it my way. I'm gonna take what's mine, I paid my dues. I dare you to walk a mile in these shoes. The beat in my soul just keeps getting louder. Give me some of that power.
I guess where we should start then is, when did the connection to the crystal meth begin? Let's start from the beginning, and then you tell me what happened. Like, how does an opportunity like this fall in your lap?
I noticed at home that my grandma kept leaving, and I was wondering why. Like, she kept leaving odd times of the day, spending all day out. And I mean, because she had her regular routine, you know. She was like the Burger King, McDonald's crew, right? They did all the kupunas. I call them the Coop troops. All the kupunas, the elders would be meeting there, spending time, whatever. But then the schedule kind of changed. She was sleeping in longer, and then she would go to town. And then one day, finally, she admitted that her cancer came back. And so...
How long had it been gone? Like, she had it before?
So she did. She had it. I can't remember the year, but she had it, went into remission. She beat it, right? She did the whole treatment thing, whatever, radiation, chemo. And it was dormant for probably 3 years or so. And then it came back. And it was hitting her harder, you know, and she basically told, she actually told my wife. She didn't even tell me first, but she said that she's not going to do treatment and she's just going to put it in God's hands, right? But as most people know that dealt with that situation, financial burdens come heavy, and because you cannot really do anything, right? So she asked me about, paying off debt, and like I said earlier, my video business is declining heavily, super fast. And my primary business, my video business, was declining. And oddly enough, I went to the Big Island for something, and one of my mutual friends came up to me and started asking me questions like, "Oh, you got any connects?" And I'm like, "What? First of all, why are you asking me? You know what I mean? I don't do that kind of shit." But in the back of my mind, I was like, honestly, stuff was running, you know what I mean? Because of, I just found out that all this debt, whatever. And he presented numbers, and I was just kind of, I guess, appalled or intrigued or whatever it was. And I literally was like, fuck it, whatever, let's do this. And
what are returns?
So sheesh, at that time, I think I was getting a pound for 3,000 or 4,000, I think. And in Big Island, it's it starts at 10 grand. So the return was in the 7,000 to 6,000 range, right? Profit.
200%.
Right. And
is that just because Big Island?
Yeah, I guess it's the transporting. I mean, this is stuff that I just kind of figured out. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because of transportation, maybe it's because of the risk or whatever it was. And best believe the thing was running through my mind. I was like, fuck, the risk is crazy. Is it worth 6,000, 7,000 to spend up to 10 years, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And I was just desperate, bro. Like that's just the honest truth. Like there's really nothing else. Like I wasn't trying to be greedy, live in the fucking mansions, drive the fancy cars, all that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that people is assuming.
What did you think the risk was? Like where is the danger of getting caught?
Just at the airport. I mean, that's really the risk, right? And then I realized like, hey, we can do private charter. We could do the companies that doesn't do TSA checks. I will not mention their names, but you can figure it out. I would travel with them regularly, you know, just for go to Molokai and chill, you know, and have spend family time and whatnot. But I think that's how I just figured out like maybe this is a way to transport this shit because they never check anything.
Right. Yeah, if you've flown there normally, they never check your stuff.
I just looked around like, wow, this is kind of nuts. Like I was tripping the first time just flying regularly. And this is not even thinking of this kind of stuff, right? Like thinking about drugs and whatnot. But just flying over whatever, coolers full of whatever, fish or anything that we can bring, right? Meats and whatnot that the family requested. I mean, even guns, you know what I mean? Like, was this because they hunt a lot, right? Up in Molokai and stuff. And so I was like, wow, these guys don't check shit. Like, this is crazy. So later on in the years, this opportunity presents itself. And I'm like, okay, this could work. You know what I mean?
On the no TSA airlines, do they ever just decide to check? Like, is that a risk?
Yeah. So I heard that, you know, they bring around dogs, walk around, but from what I know or heard is that they check for explosives. They don't check for drugs. And so.
Right. And that's a different dog.
Yeah. I was like, okay, whatever, you know, let's rock then, you know, like whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I did those routes, you know what I mean? Even to thinking of going on the boat, which is the craziest risk, but
it is.
I mean, from Oahu to Big Island on a boat, that's like over 200 miles, and you got to fill up a couple times on the way.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, just thinking of that, I was like, hey, the risk ain't that worth it by boat. So
is that because the distance and the time on the water is so great that you risk getting stopped?
I think it was more of a safety thing, not even a stop.
Really?
It's just a risk over life. You know, like to me, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't even thinking of, I mean, being caught on the water.
You would know. I mean, with Hokulea, you would know what that's like. So like, I don't know how risky that ride is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because of that experience, right, that factored in. I'm like, shoot, like I remember the times being out there because it's a lake, but then being out there is times when it's like 30, 40 foot swell, you know, and being on a whatever vessel you have, that's scary, you know what I mean? And so you could break your equipment, could lose everything, and even your life, you know what I mean? So
does it get crazy out there between Oahu and Big Island?
Yeah, Alenuihaha Channel, the channel between Big Island and Maui, is the roughest channel in the world.
Really?
The world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Either number 1 or number 2, but it's rough, bro. And like I said, I've been on the water when it was like a lake, and I've been on the water when it was like 30, 40 foot swell. Like the boat disappears, you know what I mean, in the trough
of
the swell. So yeah, so with that,
I see. So the physical risk of the boat ride is too great,
too crazy. Yeah.
And then the logistical risk of the plane was too great.
Right.
But since you weren't going to lose your life taking them by plane, you took the
more
risk.
of a better chance, I guess.
Yeah,
you know? Of course, airplanes fall and crash and whatever, but it wasn't like the experience that I've had on the water. I guess
yeah. Well, you had experience out there like nobody else. So is this something that you had to research on your own? Like, did you take it into, did you take this on your own and say, yo, I really got to look into this and not listen to anybody and like figure this out? Or did you have people that would explain to you like, yo, this is the risk, this is how to beat it?
Yeah, I never had no mentor. You know what I mean? It was just like, figure it out, you know?
Right.
And because I just didn't want nobody to know. You know what I mean? I kept it to myself, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to do whatever to help my grandma. You know what I mean?
When your friend came to you and was like, yo, this is the returns on this, did you just take that, go ponder it, you know, weigh the risk reward, and then make a decision, and then not tell that person or not tell anybody else? Or did you guys decide to like make it happen?
Pretty much. That was that simple, you know, like he asked, I searched, figured out logistics, they made it happen. You know what I mean? Like, it was.
When was this?
3-step process, super simple. Probably like later 2019-ish. You know what I mean? Like, it was a short run, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was doing this all my life.
Right.
You know?
So it was like right before COVID.
Pretty much. Yeah. Right before. Which, you know, of course, when COVID happened, I was like kind of thinking like, shit, maybe that's why a lot of stuff was slowing down at the time. I don't know.
Right.
The bigger agenda, right, from the bigger guys up there in the world.
So then you'd get these pounds in Oahu. Yeah. And then you bring them Big Island. And that's basically where your money was made, was the getting them from Oahu to Big Island. That's the premium that people were willing to pay, right? Because we know it's in Oahu. How does it get, in your opinion, to Oahu? What does it mostly come by?
So from what I heard, and this is from the agents that picked me up, they're saying so much stuff, you know what I mean? And I really don't give a shit about sharing this anymore. But you know, I don't know what task force it was, the dogs or whatever, but they track guys, you know what I mean? Like from it's all through the mail. Like they're sending it multiple ways, you know, USPS, UPS, FedEx, whatever. And of course they got their scanners and their dogs sniffing every day and doing their thing. And but that's what I heard from the horse's mouth, you know what I mean?
So mail.
I don't even know what his name was, but mail, yeah, that's what they said. It was that primarily it's mail. And the countries he was saying, I was kind of tripping, right? Like Australia and Korea. I was like, what the hell? Like, I thought it was Mexico, you know, or fucking, I don't know, wherever it comes from. Right. But he was saying all these countries, and and honestly, I never did know, you know what I mean? Because the business that I conducted, I just grabbed the stuff, no questions on both sides, and just did my thing, you know what I mean? And,
right.
Was that I hate to say it, but it was that simple, you know what I mean?
And then these would be like bricks, like what, pound bags?
Yeah, all what you call it, like vacuum sealed, bricks, yeah.
And about how big? Like what does it look like?
It's a kilo, so it's like 2.2 pounds or some shit like that. I don't know. So
like a 12-inch, like a foot long?
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe 10 inches or so, and by like 3-4 inches thick, kind, you know.
And then you
like
pack them tight together. Oh, okay.
Like it's just there. It's just like that. You know what I mean? And I just hand it over, and they do whatever they do with it. You know, like break it down and shit to their baggies or whatever.
Right. Is it heavy?
Yeah, pretty dense. Like true poundage, right? Like pound, 2 pounds, whatever it is.
Dang.
And, yeah, it's like crystals, right? Yeah, that's why they call it that, right? Crystal meth.
What'd you think the first time you saw one? That'd be a heavy experience, bro.
I was tripping, you know, because like growing up, I saw like the dime bags, right? Like
the teens,
all these peppers that my mom them would have or whatever. Like it was like crumbs, you know what I mean? And instantly, I never did work up the ladder or whatever the hell they call this shit, but
it wasn't gradual. You just
I just went straight for the poundage. Like I need this money and let's get in and out. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, like that's what that looks like. Like it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it would have tripped me out.
And because it looks like that like those freaking astrological crystals and shit. You know, the clear ones. Like,
Yeah.
It looks like this big ass like rocks all in the thing. And however they pack it, of course, it broken up here and there, but it looks like the caves, that crystal caves.
Yeah.
that I see all over the documentaries and shit.
Yeah, it looks like kryptonite.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. White kryptonite. Yeah.
And was it like duffel bags?
No, I wasn't that crazy big time. You know what I mean? Like,
It was like a kilo at a time.
Yeah, I would pick up like 2 to maybe 8 pounds at a time, around there. You know what I mean? And just see how much I could get up there. And
what did you start with? You got to start small. Like you got to start with one, right?
Probably 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like I did a test, and
Yeah. Did you do any tests before the first run?
No, just went.
Wow, you just went right for it.
Straight, because my friend was like straight confidence. Oh, I got this guy, that guy. I'm like, okay, whatever, bro. Like, just make sure you get the money. Like, that's all that matters, and I'm out. And it was that simple. I mean, wasn't anything else.
Dang,
of course, there, like any other business, I should say, it's like there's always hiccups and run-ins or whatever. With because it's all like money talk, bullshit walk kind of thing, Like people can say all the shit they want, but then right when you're about to try to make a transaction, like, oh, but I'm what this and I'm what that, and I'm like, what? Like, you wasting my fucking time? Like, I thought everything was, because of my business background, I just thought it was clean cut like that. You know what I mean?
You can't run a business when you have hiccups like that.
And truly, right? I think that was my downfall. Like, I just treated it too much like one regular business, but you realize later that you're dealing with chronics. I mean, that's all it is, and it's a whole other like.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Trip. You gotta kind of put your mind a little bit of what and how they think. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's crazy. It's like your business partners are chronics.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much.
And so you gotta compensate for that. You gotta plan for that. You gotta try to think how they think. You gotta anticipate certain screw ups. You gotta anticipate dishonesty or anticipate them dropping the ball.
Right.
And you can't measure that risk.
Yeah, you can't. And it happened. You know what I mean? Like, I never knew the guy, my quote unquote friend, was using. He was using brown. You know what I mean?
And he was supposed to be your
main guy. You know what I mean?
Main guy, and he's using
or whatever for over there, right? To get rid of the stuff. And he was doing his part, right? Doing his job or whatever,
but he was using heroin.
But he was doing brown, and it was just like, I figured it out later, like, fuck, no wonder he was acting like this or acting like that.
Right, all made sense.
Weird,
later.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it makes sense later, but it's kind of too late because you're already talking, right? And that's how really the whole operation came down.